Please welcome now to the IMUS Morning program, Carl Two Questions Jeffers.
Good morning.
Our old friend. Good morning, Mr. Jeffers.
Good morning, Don. And
How are you, baby?
I'm good. You ought to invite the American Ryder Cup team to your golf outing because they could use a little more practice, couldn't they?
Well, the thing I didn't understand about it was they were criticizing Davis Love, who was the captain, for some of his selections.
Right.
But it was Mickelson. They played great in the morning there, and then he opted out. Said he couldn't play in the afternoon because he was too emotional and invested in it. I mean, that boy's a fat sissy.
Well, I don't know about that, but certainly the captain's
What do you mean
picks
know about it? I just told you about it. What do you mean you don't know about it? I just told you about it.
But if we accept Phil Mickelson's word at face value, he specifically said to Davis Love, listen, we are not emotionally able to bring any more for the afternoon. We need a rest.
Oh, get the hell out of here. What are you, kind of a fat pansy?
Yeah.
He's playing golf. What are you talking about?
Well, with the kind of money he makes and being 40 years old almost and the kind of weight he has, he's doing pretty good.
The European guys didn't have any problem playing 5 matches.
No, but they're younger and they're in better shape.
Perhaps. Oh, you're a disgrace.
Is that what it is?
Unbelievable.
Is that what it is?
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, it was an interesting sport event. It's too bad golf doesn't have more events like that as opposed to stroke play so that they could generate that kind of enthusiasm. I mean, that was a Chicago Bears crowd, out there. And that was good television for sure.
So I got the big debate tomorrow night.
The big debate tomorrow night. You know, Don, in terms of the debates, I need to digress from the standard approach that the media commentators take. They build all of this up. These are going to be so crucial. You've got commentators, you've got Chris Christie, others. It's going to change the dynamic Thursday morning. Here's the reality, Don, and everyone in the media who's on TV right now today talking about how important these debates are and tomorrow's debate is, know this to be true. Not since 1960, when John Kennedy debated Richie Nixon, and even then, when the people who watched the debate thought Kennedy won, people who listened to the debate on radio thought Nixon won, not since 1960 has a debate really played an important role crucially in the decision of Americans at the election date. And remember, you can't have it both ways. We now know that less than 7% of the American electorate is undecided. Well, if that few are undecided, how critical could it be? But, I mean, let's take, in 1976, Gerald Ford said there's no Soviet domination of Eastern Europe. Did that cost him the election? No. It was the fact that the economy was bad, and he pardoned Richard Nixon. I mean, in 1980, Ronald Reagan, one of the most famous line ever, turned to Jimmy Carter and said, there you go again. But did that make the election for Reagan? No, because the election tide that swept Ronald Reagan didn't happen until the last 5 days of the election. In 1988, Lord Benson, perhaps the most famous debate line ever, turned to Dan Quayle and said, Senator Jack Kennedy, I knew Jack Kennedy. Jack Kennedy was a friend of mine. Senator, you're no Jack Kennedy. And in November, Benson's team lost. I mean, the reality is, Don, on Election Day, I have never heard one exit poll show a voter indicating that the decision they made for who they voted for that day was based on the debates a month before. And when these debates are over, the media will go right back to forgetting about the debates and getting back to the issues that, in essence, will decide the campaign. But for right now, it's the biggest thing going. They're building it up. The first debate will be critical. The ratings will be high. After the first debate, I predict the other debates may be lower ratings than in the past.
That was a 2-minute and 18-second answer. Right. That was good. That was good.
Well, I hope we
you did.
Make those points.
There was a lot of good information.
Yeah.
And you covered it well. So, and you also happen to probably be right.
Well, I mean, that's the point there. And one thing I will say, you and I had a little conversation before we came on, and you were talking about your boys going down, and, half jokingly and so forth.
I didn't say boy.
It doesn't matter.
I said boy. I
said boy, so there won't be any recriminations, all right?
Yeah. I don't need to get fired again, Carl.
What's that?
That's how I met you.
That's exactly right. No. I'm here to defend you, Don.
Okay.
Now, Don.
All right, baby.
And remember, I did it then. I didn't know you. So now I know you, and I'd be even more passionate in your defense. And this is another reason why, because we're going to mention something about race that we've always been able to do. But when I was here last, when I was back in New York last, 2 or 3 months ago, at that time, I was saying that, look, I think that the incumbent president probably can pull it out, but Romney's got a chance. There were 7 states by which Barack Obama won by less than 5% of the vote 4 years ago. At that time, I had 2 of them leaning towards Obama and 5 of them leaning towards Romney. Today, as I sit here now, I have 2 of them leaning towards Romney. Indiana's going back to the red column, and I think he has a chance in North Carolina. But every one of the other states in that toss-up category, I now have in the Obama column, Don. And Iowa, I think Obama right now is looking strong. Ohio, the trends are all trending towards Obama. And here's something that I'd like to put out there for people to consider. Because I think that you and I discussing this are way ahead of the curve here. I don't think this has been picked up yet. Britt Hume was being interviewed with Bill O'Reilly, I think it was yesterday. And he was saying that Republicans are kind of scratching their head a bit because they don't understand why their guy, Mitt Romney, is not further ahead and why it seems to be trending the other way. And that's because I don't think anyone's picked up on this. In the last just 6-7 months, Don, the reality is people are beginning to feel better than they have in the last 4 years. It's been a tough 4 years. It's been really bad. And just the fact that people now are beginning to feel like things are getting better. And most importantly, and this is how they should have phrased the question, not about are you better off than you were 4 years ago, do you finally see the light in terms of a better future over the next couple of years? And it's only been the last several months, but if it's an incumbent president and at the same time it's co-merging with this event, it means that those swing voters, those even single moms out in Ohio and Michigan and Indiana, that those voters are likely now to stay with the incumbent. And Romney, by the way, was right in terms of the facts. In his video clip, the 47%, well, let me give you another point. If the group of independents who are now thinking about staying with the president because things are looking better, and I'm telling you, the pollsters, no one's picking up on this yet, but it's happening out there. I see it. I travel all the time. If that group is thinking of maybe staying with the president because things look better, the other 47% that Romney's talking about, he's right. Hispanics and African Americans have been hit the hardest the last 4 years, and they remain the strongest supporters of the president. You put all of those things together, and you've got a tough uphill climb for Mitt Romney in 35 days or so.
3 minutes, 27 seconds.
Wow. Okay.
That answer. That was good.
Okay.
Well, I don't think. I mean, you're implying that people feel better and the economy is getting better. I was at a store yesterday in Manhattan. Yeah. I bought an item. I don't want to say where.
That's all right.
Get the guy in trouble, but I bought an item at the store, and I said, how's? Let me cough. I said, how's business? The guy said it'd be better if Romney gets elected.
Sure.
And it wasn't a guy who had any particular political persuasion. It's just that was just the way he felt. So.
Don, when I said that
it was a $4,000 item I bought, by the way.
A $4,000 item? Yeah. Okay, well, at that level, those people who buy $4,000 items right now mostly do think that things will be better if Romney is president.
Yeah.
So I understand that, and thank you for clarifying that for us. But here's another point. I said
who's us? You mean you?
All of us listening, you're a huge viewer audience and you're a huge radio audience as well, which I certainly honor and I'm delighted to be here to join you and visit.
I'm sucking up, Carl.
And so that's like that great line from Julia Roberts and Gear when he says, we in L.A. he says we're gonna spend an obscene amount of money in here, so we're gonna need a lot of sucking up to. And the guy Miller said, oh my dear sir, if I may say so, not only are you in the right store, but the right city, that sort of thing. So yeah, that was a good line.
Hey, let me interrupt all this stuff. Did you watch Arnold Schwarzenegger on 60 Minutes?
I did not see the interview on 60 Minutes, but I understand, he's making the rounds, and he's got some interesting things to say about that episode in his life.
That boy's a dirtbag, man.
Well, that may be. I'm not sure about that, but
wait a minute. I just told you he was.
Statements.
He's a dripping dirtbag. He's a sociopath.
Okay, well, if that's the case, it certainly doesn't.
You can't be having sex with a maid.
No, you
having
can't do that.
Having a baby in the house.
And then
come on, Carl?
in fact, taking them on your Christmas vacation.
I'm starting to worry about you.
All I'm
I'm
saying,
gonna have Bo
Don,
Dietl
is
check your
when
ass
it comes
out.
to that type of analysis, you
Yeah.
don't need me to make those kinds of
That's
judgments
true.
about Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
What you need me for is to make one last comment with respect to the
Hurry
political
up.
scene, and that is that there was another little mini controversy. And incidentally, on the things looking better, the
What is that,
polls
Carl's
show-
directing the line of questioning?
Yeah, he's controlling
polls
He
this.
show-
reprimanded me.
I heard
Don't
that.
need to ask me frivolous nonsense.
He's in control of the interview.
Hurry up.
The polls show
on, Carl.
that 42% of the
Yeah.
American people now think things look better. So it's still less than
Oh,
the
who
majority.
the hell? Well, where are they?
It's still less than the majority, Don. So that goes to your point.
Yeah.
But 42% is higher than it's been in 5 years.
That's a bogus
And
statistic.
well, I'm telling you, it's not being caught yet, but you're going to see the effect of that on election day. People really do think things are getting a little better. Some people even embarrassed to say that
have
they're doing
to
it better.
Let you go.
Okay.
I love you to death, brother.
Thank you, Don. Good to be here with
Carl,
you today.
Carl Jeffers here on the IMUS Morning Program, and it's coming up on 11 minutes till the hour.